New York police say they have a suspect in custody after an attack on a Hanukkah celebration in a town north of New York City. 5 people were taken to hospital. An eyewitness who saw the first terrifying moments of the attack says the attacker pulled out a large knife or sword and began striking people at random.
I saw him walking in by the door. I asked who was coming in the middle of the night with an umbrella. While I was saying that, he pulled it out from the sink, and he started to run into the big room, which was on the left side. And I throw him tables and chairs that he should get out of here. And he injured a guy, was a carry arrest guy. He was bleeding here, bleeding in his hand all over.
The attack took place in a rabbi's home. The suspect eventually left that building, crossed the street, and tried to enter a synagogue. When he couldn't get in, he fled the scene. A few hours later, police made an arrest in downtown New York. A man from Orange County, New York, now faces 5 counts of attempted murder. It is the 13th anti-Semitic attack in the past few weeks, according to New York's governor. Andrew Cuomo says state laws need to change.
This is terrorism. It is domestic terrorism. These are people who intend to create mass harm, mass violence, generate fear based on race, color, creed. That is the definition of terrorism. And just because they don't come from another country doesn't mean that they're not terrorists. And they should be prosecuted as domestic terrorists, because that's what they are.
For more, we have reached out to NBC News reporter Ken Bufa. He has more details on the attack and the arrest from outside the rabbi's home in Muncie, New York.
And faith leaders tell me there was about 60 to 70 people inside this home when this man came in and started stabbing them. Now we have some video to show you. Take a look right here. Police say around 10 last night, while dozens were celebrating the 7th night of Hanukkah, a man with a scarf wrapped around his face barged into the rabbi's home here on Forshey Road in Muncie and stabbed 5 people with a large knife. Now during the attack, a terrified witness threw a table and a chair at the attacker to get him to leave. That attacker, witnesses say, then tried to enter a synagogue next door, but worshipers were able to barricade themselves inside so he couldn't get in. Then the man jumped into a silver sedan and sped away. But as he drove off, a frantic witness ran outside and documented his license plate number. That helped because hours later, in Harlem, the NYPD found the suspect inside of that car and were able to take him into custody without incident. Now, according to faith leaders, of those 5 people, 2 are in critical condition, and of those 5, 1 person is 70 years old, the other, the rabbi's son. We're in Muncie. Ken Bufa, we'll send it back to you.
This mass stabbing is not an isolated incident. There have been a number of attacks on New York's Jewish population in recent months, prompting questions of whether police and officials are doing enough to stop anti-Semitism. Ryan Hicks has been looking into this angle of the story. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning. So what can you tell us about these and many other attacks on the Jewish community in and around New York?
Well, one of these recent attacks happened in Muncie earlier this month. A man was walking into a synagogue when he was stabbed, and then on December 10th, in Jersey City, there was a shooting at a kosher market. 6 people died in that shooting. 2 of the 2 shooters died, as well as 1 police officer and 3 other people. At the time, the New Jersey Attorney General said that the shooters were fueled by a hate for Jewish people and law enforcement. Last week, New York City police reported 6 attacks possibly fueled by anti-Semitism. And earlier today, the governor of New York State, Andrew Cuomo, said there have been 13 such attacks statewide in recent weeks. Let's hear a bit more from him.
This is intolerance meets ignorance meets illegality. This is an intolerant time in this country. We see anger, we see hatred exploding. It is an American cancer in the body politic. It literally turns one cell in the body against others.
But some community leaders want political leaders to take more concrete action. Let's hear from them.
As an Orthodox Jew, we were scared, but we were not surprised
To be a Jew now is very, very scary. I know friends of mine who are Orthodox Jews, they won't wear their yarmulkes in public anymore.
There's no guarantee to get rid of hate, racism, anti-Semitism. But does anybody in this state or in the Jewish community really feel that anybody is really doing the job, really addressing the issues?
Some of these community leaders feel like the justice system goes light on the perpetrators, Jennifer, and that they face little to no consequences.
Ryan, thank you for this.
You're welcome.
And for more, we spoke with Brian Levin. He's a professor and director with the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism. Levin says these types of hate crimes are being fueled by negative stereotypes.
Let's be clear, and our report is just coming out. For the first time in recent memory, and we'll see what happens when the final non-preliminary official data come out, New York City, Chicago, and LA have anti-Semitism, anti-Jewish hate crimes as the #1 in those 3 cities. And we're seeing this come at a time where there's, as I said, this tribalism and a trust in conspiracy theories and a distrust in the communal institutions that hold us together. And who gets blamed in times like this? Oftentimes it's Jews who are seen as elitists, outsiders, having control of things. But again, one attack can spur another, and to the extent that these negative stereotypes are out there, that's the fuel, that's the jet fuel that can take some unstable or angry people and move them into violence, particularly because they find it acceptable and a way to scapegoat whatever positions that they have in their lives, and perhaps take advantage of what they perceive of some neighborhood conflict where they're doing a bidding of a community even when they're not.